I am your host, Calvis J. Williamson, and today's special guest is Khetnu Nefur, owner of a Soulful Touch Wellness Mobile Wellness Center. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Coiffed Cafe.
Thank you so much for having me, Calvis.
So, before we get into the services that you provide and information about how stress affects your body, during our pre video conference, you told me that you are a part of the Gullah community, and I just thought that that was so neat and fascinating. So, if you could touch on a little bit about your family history and just some of the things that you've been given, passed down through the generations, through the oral history.
Well, I am originally from, and where I currently reside is a small coastal sea island called Johns Island, which is
Okay.
part of the Gullah Geechee Nation. And the Gullah Geechee Nation spans from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
And where my particular island is about 20 miles outside of Charleston, South Carolina. A lot of people are familiar with Charleston. It's a very big tourist city.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't know that Charleston was actually a slave port. And we actually have a slave market that's still, the actual building is in existence. They don't currently sell slaves there, but
Thank you.
there was a, uh, Fort Moultrie was the entry point for 40% of the slaves that came to America,
Mm.
came through that particular port here in Charleston, and it's off of an island called Sullivan's Island.
Okay.
And through um, through that slave trade, as people became free slaves and sharecroppers and stuff like that, this particular island is a very rural island, a lot of farming and stuff like that. So they brought the slaves here to farm cotton and indigo and things like that. And as they settled here, a lot of the African traditions and practices that they brought with them still are currently practiced here, are being preserved here, and it's such a rich and wonderful history and culture, and it really has become a love of mine. And actually, last weekend I participated in the Gullah Geechee International Music and Movement Festival here in Charleston, South Carolina,
All
with
right.
Queen Queen Quet is the we actually have a queen of the Gullah Geechee Nation,
Okay.
and she resides on St. Helena Island, which is about 45 miles south of here. It's closer to Georgia, and it's been an honor. She's kind of handpicked me as the next generation to carry the torch, and it's big shoes to fill, but it's definitely an honor, and I'm humbled, and it's been a great service for me to provide, my knowledge of
Right.
health and fitness. But a lot of it is what I learned from my grandmothers, particularly. I had a country grandma and a city grandma, and
Okay.
my country grandmother was the one who dealt with more with the herbs and the
Okay.
old tradition, like putting the moss in your shoes for high blood pressure, and
Right.
um, dealing with there's a herb called Life Everlasting that they would make a tonic from, which was actually an infusion, and they would do Life Everlasting and lemons and raw candy and things like that to make a cold remedy. And that's what we took as children. My nephews are lucked up; they don't have to take those nasty, bitter remedies. They actually work, but
Right.
it's such a great um, history for me to preserve, to learn these things and take those things that she didn't realize that I was watching her do, as a little girl, and now, incorporating that into my business and preserving the tradition.
Right. Now, really quick before we actually go into the discussion about stress and how it affects your overall health, you also said that within your own family history that you had, I guess, a French Huguenot, one of the first French Huguenots that settled here in the United States, is actually in your
Yeah,
blood lineage.
yeah, and actually, my great great grandfather, his name is Henry Noizet. he was actually a Civil War hero too. He was a Civil War hero,
Uh-huh.
and he was a French Huguenot who married a Haitian woman from Haiti, and they moved here to Charleston and were one of the first interracial couples here in the city, and caused quite a stir, from
Wow.
what I understood.
Yeah.
This, this white gentleman walking with this Haitian woman,
Right.
and they had children and stuff like that. And the Noisette name is very big here in Charleston.
Okay.
And it's funny because they span the palette of very near white to, blurple.
Okay.
So it's very interesting to see that in itself. But I also have a Native American, Indigenous American history as well, Cherokee and Seminole.
Sure.
In my family as well. I had a great grand aunt who lived to be 107. She died when I was 5.
Wow.
But I was blessed to be in her presence, and it was so cute. And it's so funny that I have my hair kind of like this today. But she would wear, her hair was like pure white, and she would always wear her 2 pigtails, and I love that about her. But I really didn't realize how old she was until she died. And my father was telling me, he was like, yeah, Aunt Viola was 107, and I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, because she was high and everything, and she actually died of old age. She wasn't sick. She didn't have disease. She just died, And,
Okay.
yeah, so that was amazing. So,
wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that about your family. And I actually would like to do another interview to go deeper into the Gullah culture. So we will definitely have you back on the show to give us some more history about the Gullah Nation. So we are moving towards holiday seasons, and with that, going, back to school, holiday seasons, that thing, all those kinds of things can cause stress. Thanksgiving is coming, family is coming from out of town, or you're going to see family and people are trying to coordinate things. So if you could briefly discuss, how does stress affect one's overall health?
Well, we all deal with stress. Even little kids deal with stress. I mean, they have homework, they have, their parents on their back. Everybody has some type of stress, and we're always dealing with different types of stressors. So, the effect of stress run the gamut, and stress can literally kill you, and that's real, and that's something that I try to drive home to my clients all the time. Stress is a killer.
And I don't think people realize that. A lot of people don't realize that stress can cause that much of adverse effects on your health.
Right. It can, and it does, because it's one of those things that not only deals with your physical self, it also deals with your emotional and mental self.
Right.
And that's the thing about holistic health. You have to deal with the person as a whole being, and not just symptoms that they may be having.
Right.
So a lot of times when we're overloaded with work and overloaded with school, and carrying a lot of negative emotions and negative feelings about ourselves, about other individuals, and things like that, that's when the physical factors start to pop up.
Right.
Headaches. You have headaches and migraines, stomach aches, constipation. Some people break out in hives. I personally don't deal with stress well, and I literally will break out in hives when I'm overstressed. So these are, very key things that we are shown through our bodies a lot of times, and we've been so acclimated to dealing with stress all the time, and we tend to just dismiss it when it's something that we really need to address, because we need to now figure out what it is that we need to do to combat these things that are causing us stress. And one of the key things is actually, taking an assessment of where you stand in the situation, and allowing yourself to see what you can do personally, because it is always our reaction to a stressor that causes the stress. It's not always the stressor that causes stress. It's our reaction to it. So, right, and that's the thing. So the key to it is taking a pause and allowing yourself to assess the situation to see whether this is something to be stressed about. You
Okay.
know, one of my favorite Les Brown quotes is, "Before you run from the dog, make sure it has teeth." You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes
Exactly.
it may not have teeth, and it may be chained up. So, don't allow things that may not have that type of precedent, that may need that type of precedence to stress you in the first place, so that you won't have that headache, you won't have that stomach ache, you won't, what I'm saying, lose your
Right.
hair and do all those other things. Because there are certain things that we can change. We can eliminate certain people out of our lives. We can, even in this job market, find a better job, do something that we love, or allow yourself to address the situation at work that may be stressing you at work, be it
Right.
the person, a coworker, a boss, or even a customer.
Right.
So
Right.
those are some initial things to look at.
So assessing the situation and then really trying to focus on ways to eliminate those stressors out of your life. So before we go into your do-it-yourself mix that you do that you actually use on some of your customers, tell us briefly about what specific services that you offer at a Soulful Touch.
Well, a Soulful Touch Wellness is a mobile wellness center. I am a licensed massage therapist. I am a certified comedic yoga instructor.
Mm-hmm.
I am a certified holistic health practitioner, and I have just recently been certified as a birth doula.
Okay.
So I try to combine a total package of services where I am a one-stop shop. I want you to be able to feel that you are getting a complete service. You're not rushed. You're not feeling like a number. So, we can actually customize a wellness program for you using those different services. And there are other smaller things that fall under those umbrellas as well. And I also have my own line of aromatherapy products that I develop to complement those services, so that again I can provide my clients with everything that they need when we meet. So I can say, okay, we're gonna do a massage, but after we
Mm-hmm.
do your initial consultation to see what's going on with you, I can actually customize a blend for you,
Okay.
so that you may need something to help you go to sleep at night. You may need something just to help you relax. You may need something to help you lift your mood while you're sitting at your desk.
Is
So
your
these are different things that
aromatherapy line, is that, do you have a name for that, or is it under a Soulful Touch?
it's called Impressive Sense with an E, like Empress.
Okay.
And
Fancy.
yeah, and this fun play on words.
Right.
I used to have a small culture shop down in Miami when I lived in Miami, and I named it Impressive Sense because I sold oils and incense and things like that I
Right.
handmade and blended. So the name stuck, and I thought that was really fun and cute to keep, because it is indicative of who I am. I try to carry myself in an impressive manner, and also as an empress of a queenly nature. So it's a
Okay.
great play.
Okay, so really quick, we have just a couple of minutes left. You have
Right.
a simple massage oil blend that our viewers can
Right.
try at home. So if you could go over that for us, and my husband will probably try this on me, so I don't know. He tried
Nice,
me
nice.
wrong, but
So yeah, well, basically, you're going to need any type of carrier oil. That
okay.
could be either sweet almond, avocado, flaxseed, olive oil, jojoba, sesame. It's your choice. I
Okay.
would stay away. I would stay away from baby oil because it does have mineral oil in it, and it has a petroleum base.
Okay.
Those tend to um, clog the pores of the skin, so
Okay.
it tends to just stay on top of the body. So
Okay.
you want something that's light and easy, so like a nut oil, or a simple base oil. So
Okay.
you're gonna need a tablespoon just for a simple back massage or a neck and shoulder massage. You're gonna need a tablespoon of that carrier oil,
Okay.
and you're gonna need about 12 drops of your choice of essential oils. But for
Okay.
this particular blend, I'm gonna call this the Coiffed Cafe blend.
Hey,
I got this from Coiffed
hey.
Cafe.
Yes.
Hey, so you're gonna need an essential oil. There's many different brands. This is a lavender essential oil.
Okay.
You can go to many of your health food stores. They carry them. Great line is Oracacia. I love their products. They have an organic line, and they're very inexpensive. Like your stuff like frankincense and stuff like that, those are in very high demand, and they're tend to be a little more expensive. You may pay $26 for a bottle this size. This is a 5 milliliter bottle.
Right.
But your lavender runs about $6. So
Okay.
this blend, you're gonna need lavender essential oil.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna need lemongrass essential oil,
Okay.
and you're gonna add a little ylang ylang, which is my favorite essential oil.
Is that the one with the
And,
Y? It starts with a Y,
yes,
correct?
ylang.
How do you say it?
Yes, ylang ylang.
Okay, girl, listen. I've seen it before. I never knew how to pronounce it. So,
Some
ylang
people
ylang.
say lang lang, but it's ylang ylang.
No, I don't want to say lang lang. That's so uncultured.
Right, it's so uncomfortable. Right. So with that, you're gonna add 12 drops, and you could do any variation that you want, but you don't want to go more than 12 drops because
Okay.
you want it to be where it's concentrated, but not too concentrated, because you don't want to overwhelm the body with the essential oils, because it does go into the limbic system.
Right.
So, what you would do, for example, this is more than a tablespoon. This is actually 2 ounces. But just to give you an idea, you would just pour your oil into an empty bottle or a bowl, whatever you have available, and you just want to add a few drops. And with these normally have a tip where it allows you to drop. If you can kind of see it there, it has a little round hole,
Okay.
and you just want to tap the top of the bottle, and you will get the drops to go inside your blend.
Okay.
And I always suggest that instead of shaking the bottle that you're blending in,
Mm-hmm.
you roll it in your hands, and that way you can warm up the oil as well from the heat, from your body heat. So if you're gonna do your massage right then and there, it'll help to warm up the oil. And with the heat from your hands, also it'll also blend the oil a lot more quickly instead of doing like this.
That is another do-it-yourself tip. Always roll your bottle when you're mixing oils to make sure it blends and not shake it. So shake, no,
I mean,
not shaking, not
shake it,
stirring.
it will agitate it, but I find that it blends a lot more easily when you roll it. It actually gets more momentum of the oils together, and it'll blend a lot easier.
Okay.
And again, it's twofold because you're warming up the oil as well.
Okay.
With your hands.
So we're gonna just let the viewing audience know all of the information from this episode and the recipes will be available in the description box right below the video. Really quick, how can people get in touch with you? Websites, your Facebook, phone number. How can folks get in touch with you?
Well, they can catch me online at my website, asoulfultouch.net. That's asoulfultouch.net.
Okay.
They can catch me on Facebook under the same name, A Soulful Touch, and on Twitter at A Soulful Touch. So those are the online stuff, and they can actually give me a call. I do free health consultations over the phone, or we could do a Skype interview.
Okay.
And it's the phone number is area code 843-564-2464.
Okay. And if you have any questions about the information that was presented in this episode of the Coiffed Cafe or any of our other episodes of the Coiffed Cafe, feel free to inbox us on Facebook, or you can send me an email to coiffedcafe@gmail.com. I want to say thank you again to Khetnu for coming, and we definitely want to have you back to talk more in depth about the Gullah Geechee Nation. Thank you so much for coming to our show today.
Thank you so much, Calvis, for having me, and definitely stay tuned for more from A Soulful Touch, and we look forward to talking with you again.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.